For years, if you worked with data in Python, one library absolutely ruled the kingdom: Pandas. But now, a new challenger has stepped into the ring, and it's promising some seriously incredible speed and efficiency. Its name? Polars. So, is it time for a new king to take the throne? Let's find out.
You know the feeling, right? If you've ever worked with a big dataset, you've been there. You hit run on your code, and then you just wait and wait. Maybe you go grab a coffee while your computer's fan sounds like it's about to take off. Well, that waiting is the exact problem we're going to tackle today.
So first up, let's pay our respects to the reigning champion. Because to really understand a revolution, you first have to understand the empire it's up against. And in the world of Python data science, that empire is, without a doubt, Pandas.
And look, there's a really good reason Pandas is so dominant. It's super flexible, pretty intuitive to learn, and it has this massive community and ecosystem built around it. For just exploring data, cleaning up messy files, and all kinds of general analysis, it has been the go-to tool for more than a decade.
But here's the catch. As our datasets have exploded from megabytes to gigabytes and way beyond, the cracks in that empire have started to show. See, Pandas was designed to run on a single CPU core. It also tends to be a memory hog, and its eager approach, which we'll break down in a bit, means it can do a lot of extra unnecessary work. These are the exact bottlenecks that open the door for a challenger.
And that challenger is Polars. Now, this isn't just some small update or a slightly faster version of Pandas. No, it's a complete rethinking of what a DataFrame library can be, built from the ground up for the world we live in now, a world with multi-core computers.
And the most important part is right here in this definition. First off, Polars is written in Rust. That's a big deal. Rust is famous for two things: raw speed and memory safety, which means fewer unexpected crashes. But the real game changer is its design philosophy: parallelism. It's built to use all the power your modern computer has, not just a tiny piece of it.
So you can really think of Polars' power coming from these three pillars. You've got the Rust foundation giving it that raw speed. Then you've got multi-threaded parallelism, which lets it break up a huge task into smaller pieces and run them all at the same time across your CPU cores. And finally, you have its secret weapon: lazy evaluation. This is a fundamentally smarter way to get things done.
All right, enough talk. Theory is cheap, right? Let's put these two libraries to the test and actually see what this speed looks like in a real head-to-head showdown.
So our first task is something we all have to do: just reading a big 5 GB CSV file. Pandas takes a pretty straightforward approach, reading it one line after another, sequentially. Polars, on the other hand, can actually scan the file and read big chunks of it all at the same time, in parallel.
And wow, the results here are just staggering. I mean, it's not even a contest. What takes Pandas a full 60 seconds, Polars gets done in just 5 seconds. That is a 12 times speed up right out of the gate, just from reading a file. This is that power of parallelism in action.
Okay, let's try something a bit more complex: a group by aggregation. This is where you group your data by some category, like store location, and then calculate something, like average sales. Once again, Pandas is going to do each step one by one by one. Polars, though, it's going to look at everything you want to do first, and then come up with the smartest plan to get it done.
And would you look at that? The performance gap is even wider now. We're talking 2 full minutes for Pandas versus just 10 seconds for Polars. This isn't just about raw power anymore. This huge difference is all thanks to that secret weapon we mentioned. So let's break down how it actually works.
We're going to dive into this concept called lazy evaluation. Now, it might sound relaxed, but trust me, it's an incredibly powerful strategy. It's really the heart and soul of Polars' performance, especially on these more complex jobs.
The easiest way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Think of Pandas as an eager cook. It reads the first line of a recipe, chop onions, and immediately does it. Then it reads the next line, dice carrots, and immediately does that. It just does things as it sees them. Polars, on the other hand, is lazy in a super smart way. It's like a master chef who reads the entire recipe before they even pick up a knife. The chef sees that both the onions and carrots are going into the same soup and says, "Hey, wait a minute, I can chop all of these at once on the same cutting board to save time."
So, this is how it works. Polars takes your entire chain of commands. It analyzes the whole thing to find shortcuts and optimizations, and then it creates the absolute best, most efficient plan to get the job done. Only then does it execute everything all at once, in parallel. This way, it avoids creating all these temporary data frames that just waste time and memory.
It truly works smarter, not just harder.
So with all this mind-blowing performance, the question is pretty obvious, right? Should everyone just drop Pandas and switch to Polars right now? Well, like most things in technology, it's not quite that simple.
Here's a quick cheat sheet. If you're working with smaller data, say under a gigabyte, or you're doing a lot of quick interactive exploration, Pandas is still fantastic. It's mature and it plugs into everything. But the second your data gets big, or you're building a production pipeline where every second counts, Polars becomes the clear winner. The speedup is just too massive to ignore.
And this really sums it up perfectly. Polars isn't necessarily a Pandas killer. Think of it more like a specialized high-performance tool that's been built for this new era of massive data. It's all about knowing you have the right tool for the right job.
Because at the end of the day, the world of data is only getting bigger and it's only getting faster. Tools like Polars really do represent the future of how we process information efficiently. So the real question isn't whether Polars will replace Pandas, it's whether your toolkit is ready for that future.